How the Sausage is Made, Part 2. Let's take a break for a moment and talk about a physics concept called conservation of mass. Essentially, conservation of mass relates to how mass and energy cannot be created or destroyed. They can only be changed from one state to another. So in instance, if you have a bunch of wood and you set fire to it, the wood dissipates as you're burning it. However, it is also producing energy along the way. And those two things can be exchanged equivalently as they work together to heat your home or your campsite. It turns out pixels can be created and destroyed. So defying physics in Photoshop. So resizing a pixel-based object up or down has its challenges. So normally when we're resizing down, it's not a problem. You're taking something with high resolution, you're just making it, lower resolution. Not a problem. The problem comes in when you're taking something small and you're resizing it up. Now, Photoshop can do this pretty well if you're just going up just a little bit. However, what happens is if you're resampling, which is resizing pixels is called resampling. If you're resampling from a smaller object to a larger object, depending on how far you go, the new object that you have may look blurry, like it's slightly out of focus. I have a saying that I refer to all the time: clients got a client. In other words, you may think you've placed all the objects in your image perfect size. No one could ever question it. Client will, and they will tell you, oh, can we make that sunflower a little bigger? And then you're going to have to go back to your Photoshop file, find the original sunflower asset, and then place it in the file and resize it to what the client actually wanted, usually with him hanging over your shoulder. And that's a big pain. Wouldn't it be nice if there's an easier way? Well, it turns out there is. In Photoshop, we have these things called smart objects. And smart objects can be resized without affecting the pixel content. So, I don't know, in other words, it's infinitely resizable. And in fact, you can resize it multiple times, and it's still going to be the original pixels. So if you initially are just playing with the size and rotating objects, every time you transform an object and it's a different size or rotated, pixels are created. However, with a smart object, it retains the original image and kind of locks it down. So it will place it on the Photoshop document at a different size or a different rotation. However, it will have the same pixels internally in that smart object. So if you need to resize it later, it's not a problem. This is definitely the way to work in Photoshop, and I will be checking your work to make sure you're using smart objects. So be on alert, just because I know this is going to make your life so much easier.